You did something extraordinary last night. You lay down. You closed your eyes. And at some point, you stopped existing as a conscious person. Not metaphorically. Your awareness of yourself, your surroundings, your body, your name, all of it vanished. And you let it happen. Voluntarily. You've done this over 28,000 times. You'll do it again tonight. Now try something. Try to remember the exact moment you fell asleep last night. Not the moment you got into bed. Not the last thought you had. The moment. The precise second where waking ended and sleep began. You can't. Not roughly. Not approximately. You cannot locate that boundary. It's not hiding somewhere in the back of your mind. It's not a fuzzy memory. It was never there. You have a gap in your memory that is approximately 7 to 8 hours long, and the entrance to that gap is completely invisible. Why? Here's what everyone knows. You fall asleep because your brain gets tired. It slows down, like a machine powering off. The neurons fire less. The activity drops. Eventually, everything goes quiet. Sleep is the absence of waking. It's your brain turning off. Simple, clean, satisfying, and it's almost entirely wrong. In 1937, a physiologist named Alfred Loomis was working in a private laboratory in New York. He was wealthy. He had no university backing him. He built his own research facility and filled it with the most advanced electroencephalography equipment on Earth. Loomis recruited volunteers. He attached electrodes to their scalps. He asked them to fall asleep in his lab while he recorded the electrical activity of their brains. He discovered something that shouldn't have been possible. Sleep is not a gradual dimming. It's not a slow fade. Your brain doesn't power down like a laptop running out of battery. It switches. Loomis identified 5 distinct brainwave patterns that occur as you fall asleep. He called them stages A through E. Each stage looks completely different from the one before it. The transition between stages isn't smooth. It's abrupt, like flipping channels on a television. Between stage A, relaxed wakefulness, and stage B, the first sign of sleep, there is a cliff. A sudden drop. Your brain doesn't slide into sleep. It falls. Loomis published his findings in 1937. The scientific community was stunned. His staging system became the foundation of all modern sleep research. But Loomis missed something. Something he couldn't have seen with 1930s technology. In 2010, a neuroscientist named Matthew Wilson at MIT was studying rat brains. Not human brains. Rat brains. He had implanted tiny electrodes into the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for forming memories, of his rats. He watched what happened as they fell asleep. Wilson discovered that the moment a rat's brain transitions from wakefulness to sleep, the hippocampus does something bizarre. It fires in reverse. The same neurons that were active during the day, in the same sequences, replayed backward. Like rewinding a tape. The rat's brain wasn't just shutting down. It was actively reversing its recent neural activity. It was erasing. Wilson called this phenomenon reverse replay. And he believed it serves a purpose. The brain is clearing the slate, removing the most recent, most fragile memories to make room for consolidation of older, more important ones. But here's the problem. The memory of falling asleep is one of those fragile, recent memories. And it gets erased, before it ever has a chance to form. You don't forget falling asleep. Your brain deletes it. Actively. Deliberately. Before you can even register it happened. But that's just the beginning. In 2017, a team at the University of Wisconsin, led by Giulio Tononi, published a study in Nature Neuroscience that changed everything. Tononi had a theory. He called it the sleep homeostasis hypothesis. The idea was simple but radical. Every moment you spend awake, your brain accumulates synaptic connections. Tiny links between neurons. You learn something, you form a connection. You see something, you form a connection. By the end of the day, your brain is overloaded with new connections. Sleep is the process of pruning them, cutting back, selectively destroying the connections you made during the day so your brain doesn't become saturated. Tononi's team measured synaptic density in mice. They found that sleep reduces the number of synaptic connections by approximately 20%. Every night, 1/5 of what you learned that day, physically dismantled. Now think about what happens in those final seconds before sleep. Your brain is still forming connections. You're still conscious. You're still experiencing. The pillow against your cheek. The sound of the fan. The random thought about that email you forgot to send. And then the pruning starts. And the very first things to go are the most recent. the last things you experienced, the last things you were conscious of. The moment of falling asleep is the first casualty of your brain's nightly demolition project. But this is where it gets stranger. In 2019, a neuroscientist named Thomas Anderlin at the University of Lyon in France ran an experiment that nobody expected. He recruited 22 volunteers. He waited until they were in the earliest stage of sleep. Stage N1, the hypnagogic state, that twilight zone between waking and sleeping. And then he played sounds. Not loud sounds. Soft sounds. White noise. Brief tones. The kind of thing your brain would normally register and ignore. Then he woke them up. Immediately. Within seconds of the sound. And he asked them, "Did you hear anything?" Here's what he expected. People in light sleep might hear something. People in deeper sleep wouldn't. A simple gradient. The deeper you go, the less you hear. That's not what happened. The volunteers in stage N1 sleep heard the sounds. Their brains processed them. Their auditory cortex lit up on the EEG. The sound entered their brain and was registered. But they had no memory of it. Zero. Not one participant could recall hearing anything. Their brains heard the sound, processed the sound, and then discarded the memory of hearing it. Anderlin discovered that during the transition into sleep, your brain doesn't stop perceiving. It stops remembering. He called this dissociation between perception and memory encoding. Your brain is still recording. It's just not saving the file. The camera is still on. The memory card has been removed. And this brings us to the deepest layer. In 2021, a team at the University of Tokyo, led by Yu Hayashi, published a study in Nature that may explain why. Hayashi was studying a specific type of neuron in the hypothalamus. These neurons produce a chemical called melanin-concentrating hormone, or MCH. For years, scientists thought MCH neurons were simple sleep-promoting cells. They fire when you're asleep. They help keep you asleep. That was the story. Hayashi discovered something else entirely. MCH neurons don't just promote sleep. They actively suppress memory formation. When MCH neurons fire, they send inhibitory signals to the hippocampus. They tell the memory system to stop working. And when do MCH neurons fire the most? During the transition from wakefulness to sleep. That critical window. The exact moment you're falling asleep. Your brain isn't failing to remember. Your brain is sending a signal that says, "Do not remember this." Hayashi tested this directly. He activated MCH neurons in mice while they were learning a new task. The mice couldn't form memories. He suppressed MCH neurons. The mice's memory improved dramatically. The MCH neurons are the eraser. And they turn on precisely when you're falling asleep. But why? Why would your brain evolve a mechanism specifically designed to erase the memory of falling asleep? Here's the terrifying part. Think about what falling asleep actually is. You are voluntarily surrendering consciousness. You are choosing to become unconscious. In the wild, for millions of years of human evolution, if you could remember the moment of falling asleep, you would remember what it feels like to lose control, to feel your awareness dissolving, to feel yourself disappearing. And that feeling would be terrifying. Your brain knows this, so it deletes the evidence. It removes the memory of the transition so that you'll do it again tomorrow night. And the night after that. And the night after that. You don't remember falling asleep because your brain is protecting you from knowing what falling asleep actually is. You are not a single organism that turns off at night. You are a system that must be tricked into surrendering. Every single night. 28,000 times in a lifetime. Your brain erases the moment of falling asleep so that you'll agree to do it again. And it works. Every night you lie down. You close your eyes. You hand over everything you are. And you don't even flinch. Because you don't remember what happened last time. So tonight, when you lie down and close your eyes and the room goes quiet and your thoughts start to dissolve and you feel that edge approaching, that cliff between here and gone, know that your brain is already preparing to erase this moment. And ask yourself, if you could remember it, would you ever close your eyes again?